Okay, so this is my most popular ever post on Instagram. 2,254 likes. This post, posted just a few moments after that one, has also proved wildly popular by my standards. 1,750 odd likes. And the reason that this is popular, I guess, is that people like early morning coffee in the outdoors. They like swimming in rivers. I'm pretty sure it's not down to my lily white bottom that this is popular. People want to be outdoors, living a simple, fun, adventurous life. And that's great, of course. It's wonderful. Simple adventure, outdoor pleasures has filled most of my life, whether that's doing things through the cubs, learning knots, learning how to put up tents, just the simple childhood pleasures of being out and riding my bike. I love this sort of stuff. Or getting a bit older, my first ever adventure, cycling across the UK, age 15. Next to me there, super cycling man, a guy who's currently cycling around the world. It clearly had a big impact on us, even though we got impressively lost right up. This is us lost on top of Great Gable, one of the highest mountains in England, which is pretty dumb of us. Growing up, adventure still had a big part in my life. Riding the Karakoram Highway, that was my first bike adventure, cycling over the mountains from Pakistan to China. And that then led me on eventually to doing the biggest trip of my life, cycling around the world. 4 years on the road, that's cycling through Ethiopia. It's a pretty budget, simple journey, trying to fix my bike with a spoon. I was very proud of the repair. It made it quite hard to eat my tea after that. From Africa, I jumped on a sailing boat, sailed across the Atlantic over to South America with my interesting hairstyle. And what was interesting was when I crossed the Atlantic, my camera got broken on the boat, and I didn't really care. When I got off the boat in Ushuaia in Patagonia, back on the bike, I just bought myself a disposable camera, and for all the ride up through beautiful, wild Patagonia, I hardly took any pictures, and I didn't really care, because I was just doing it for the adventure. That was the primary, most important thing in my life. Fast forward a few years, and now I make my living out of adventures, trying to live adventurously. But the truth is, I had more adventure in my little finger back when I cycled around the world than I do now, sitting in my shed with a massive, ridiculous poster of myself above my head. That perhaps is a subject for another film or my therapy session. Anyway, the way I earn my living now is from writing books and giving talks and making films about adventure, and all of this has been made so much easier, possible even really, by social media, by YouTube, and there's so many people now doing adventurous stuff. However, when I sort of look through my Instagram thing, I sometimes feel that the real adventurers are being crowded out. The kind of people who are slogging their way through Patagonia with an instant camera are not getting heard, because Instagram, my feed is just full of beautiful people and curated product shots and endless photographs of coffee and hipster bikes, and that seems to be sad. Now, it's always a dangerous thing to criticise other people, so I thought a good thing to do would be just to turn the mirror upon myself and talk a little bit more about my most popular ever Instagram post of this. Well, it was a beautiful morning. It was a lovely jump into a river. It's a great place to have a coffee. None of this is lying, but what the picture doesn't show is how long it took me to set up this picture, how difficult it is to get a self-timer shot of you jumping into a river, how stupidly, precariously close to the river edge my stove was balanced so that I could get just the right shot. The subtle but carefully positioned sponsor's mug. It's all. Ooh, hang on. Just feeling a little bit thirsty. Excuse me. Yum. high gloves mug. And I took, in just one overnight little micro-adventure, I took over 300 photos. Compare that to what, I don't know, 100 or so that I took in the months cycling around Patagonia. And that's not to mention the £2,000 worth of fancy camera gear I use to take the picture, or the clever photo editing program I use, and all of this just to capture a supposedly simple, carefree, egalitarian moment of adventure. Let me be clear though, I love every single part of what I do. I love jumping in rivers and making coffee, but I also really enjoy the creative process of taking the photo and trying to edit it and make it look nice. I love every single part of what I do, but I'm not necessarily sure it conveys the idea of how simple it can be to go out and not only to have an adventure, but also to tell the story of an adventure. So I thought a little bit about what do you really need to document a trip, to tell the story of an adventure. And I really think it's much simpler than we might think it is. Do I really need fancy cameras and a drone, or could I just get myself an instant camera, a laughably old school and crap audio recorder, and then just jump on a train, get out of the city, go spend the night out in the outdoors with a friend, having a good time, and tell that story? Is that an adventure? Is that a story? I don't know, but I enjoyed it. I headed out from my shed one summer's afternoon, jumped myself onto a very crowded rush hour train and headed out of London. Get out of the city and go see a friend. It never ceases to amaze me how quick and easy it is to get out of a city, to get out into the countryside, to find somewhere quite peaceful and quiet. And that's where I met Ollie, my friend Ollie. Ollie he's an interesting guy actually. He runs a blog called The Outdoor Dad. He's a father, he loves adventure. He's got a normal-ish job. He works as freelance in magazines, and so he has to try and juggle family life with the adventures that he loves as well. And this was perfect then to go do an overnight micro-adventure with him and with his two fun but fairly budget inflatable canoes. We pumped them up. I was giddy like a little kid. I was so excited to be out of London on a hot, sunny day, to get out of the city and to get on the water. I couldn't wait to get started. And we're off. Shoved the boats out into the river, loaded up with the camping gear that we needed for the night. I was like a little kid, chortling away, happy as Larry, as we paddled off down the river. And it was beautiful. There were ducklings swimming, there were herons loitering by the riverbank. The swallows were dipping and singing. The air was filled with the beautiful sounds of summer, which actually is a time to maybe make a little caveat that so-called minimal adventure filmmaking, my cassette player, which I diligently recorded throughout the whole time away, didn't work. Absolute rubbish. The plus side of it though is that in trying to record the audio, it forced me to listen. So I paid attention, and I was feeling pretty immersed in it all, even if I now can't share with you the lovely sounds of the ducklings tweeting away. But out there, it was bliss. It's so easy to get out and do something like this, and this was so near the city. A lovely summer's peaceful day out on the river, paddling along. Beautiful, clear, clean water, kingfishers, bolts of blue zooming down the river. I'm seeing so many kingfishers at the moment. Fish jumping, swallows flying down and dipping into the water. It was just beautiful. So Ollie and I are feeling pretty proud of life right now. Happy to be out there, happy to be squeezing in this adventure between Ollie's evening at work and having to be back at the office ready for the next morning. No adventure is an adventure without a trip to the pub. So we parked up the canoes on the riverbank, dumped the boat, and set off walking through this beautiful meadow to go find ourselves a pub. A nice summer's evening, an English pub with a couple of beers, bit of football on the TV. Life felt pretty good. feeling a little bit more merry with the evening then, we strolled, swayed our way back towards the boat and carried on paddling down the river. Just a gorgeous, peaceful evening paddle. The mist starting to come down, the temperature starting to cool. Peace and quiet as dusk approached. Beautiful time of the day, the bats flying and swirling around our heads. It was time now to set up our camp, to find a place to spend the night and to sleep out under the stars. We needed somewhere to rig our hammocks, so we needed somewhere with trees. We found a beautiful little island in the river to camp on. By now the sun had set, bats swirling around, and the evening was really calm. It was a warm summer's evening, so we lit a campfire. We'd had permission to do that, and had a campfire, sat around the fire, chatting away till it was time to go to sleep. Early morning, waking up in a hammock is a more enjoyable feeling than my selfie might suggest. I love just waking up there and you see the sky, the leaves, and gradually it's dawning on you where you are. You're out there. Time for breakfast. Fried up. Ollie was feeling extremely hungry. Had an enormous pan full of bacon sandwiches. And then to wake up properly, what do you need then? You need diving into the river for a refreshing start to the day. However, Ollie had to get back to work, so it's time to get ourselves back onto the water, back into the boat, and head back towards the real world. And we'd only been away just overnight. Pretty peaceful little village, not very far away from London, hardly big and wild, but I felt so refreshed and relaxed and at peace with the world, having been away for just this one overnight experience. Ollie had to go to work. He dumped me at the train station, and I properly re-entered the smelly, noisy reality of London, but reeking of wood smoke, that lovely smell that you get when you've been out in the wild, and of course with the damp boxer shorts from my morning swim. And that's it. A simple overnight adventure, a simple story of what we got up to, and perhaps really that's all we need. We need to remember that the thing we're trying to do is to get out there and have these good experiences, and perhaps all you need to remember that story for yourself is a instant camera, a slightly better Walkman than mine, and an idea to spend some time with your friend in the outdoors doing something simple and fun, adventurous and enjoyable. And that's the important part of adventure, and that's what I need to remember. He says, finishing off the film, knowing that he's now going to edit it and put it on Instagram, like this film, yeah!